I am so glad you are here. It is Divine Saturday in my world, so let's talk tarot. We have been journeying through the tarot number by number by number, starting with aces, and we've gone all the way up through 10. So we're going to talk about the court cards today, and I'll get into them more in the next few weeks. The example deck I have for you is an unusual one. It's the Osho Zen Tarot, and it has completely reimagined those court cards. So let's start at the beginning. Back in the day, if you were going to have 4 court cards, which is normal, and in a playing deck, these were converted to jacks, queens, and kings, right? We had pages, knights, queens, and wands, or pages, knights, queens, and kings for the 4 different court cards. Pages were often a youth. Knights were usually young men. Queens, women. Kings, older men, men with some authority. And the way I was introduced to them is not how I interpret them today, but I thought I would show you a classic book on the subject that really gets into it. And that is all it has to say about the court cards. It basically says, don't interpret them. They mean people. And the people are divided by age, as I just did, and through the suits by the shade or pigmentation of their skin, believe it or not. With, I want to make sure I get it right because I don't use this anymore. Swords represent the darkest of people. Pentacles come next. Then getting little lighter, we're getting on to cups. And then finally the fairest, the palest of humans are wands. I don't do that. I don't know anybody who does that, but I did want to cover it because it's part of the history of how tarot works. And it also is interesting because it definitely communicates that this was an observable thing in Europe hundreds and hundreds of years ago when this first became a popular deck of cards, style of you working with cards. I don't think of it that way anymore. I tend to think of it as the development of your thought process about something. And pages, and these are our pages today: fighting, understanding, intensity, and adventure. And we'll get more into the pages next week. But just as court cards, for me, pages are appropriately tied to the number 11, which is the next number in our series, because this is the master psychic number. And pages are all about, I have an idea. That's how I tend to think of them, divided again by suit in terms of the nuance about what kind of idea you're having. To me, knights are about stepping out on that path, following through on the idea. Queens are about understanding what it is you're doing. I've done it. I have practical experience. I get it, but maybe not being able to really verbalize or teach it yet. And kings are about being at the position of, I thought of it, I did it, I understand it, and now I can verbalize it. That's how I tend to view the court cards overall, but they each have their own specific little nuances, and we'll get into those over the coming weeks. I should also say that in between page and adventure lies several other ways of naming the court cards. Definitely in the latter part of the 20th century, people went, why is it 3 males and 1 female? Let's add princess. Let's take page away and put princess in that place. So then you have princess, prince, or knight, queen, king. Fairly straightforward, and I can make an argument, I suppose, for the convention of ladies first, for why they're done in that order. You, however, could also infer rank differential with that ordering, with the male king being the penultimate authority. So there are people who have degendered these cards as well, which is a beautiful thing because it gives you the freedom to imagine anyone in the role that card represents. You gotta love that. It opens you up to really seeing reality, I think, a little more clearly and reimagining your future, which is the whole point of tarot to begin with, in a more clear and concise way. That's my time, folks. So on behalf of myself, Liz, and the rest of the crew here at Magus Books and Herbs in Minneapolis and online at magusbooks.com, I want to thank you for tuning in, for the comments, the likes, the shares, all the things that you get to do to help us boost the algorithm and get this information out to more folks. In the meantime, really our most sincere thanks for you being your magical self and really helping the world to be a better place each and every day. See you next week for some more tarot. And in the meantime, have a great one and blessed